Okay, we've all been there, right? You've got the perfect plan, the team is fired up, and then the project actually starts. That's the execution phase. It's where all those great ideas meet reality. And honestly, it can feel like you're navigating a minefield. So today, let's break down exactly how you get through it successfully. Because let's be real, things will go wrong. No plan, no matter how brilliant it is, ever survives first contact with the real world. So the true test of a project isn't about avoiding problems, it's about having a system for how you're going to handle them when they pop up. Let's dive into what that system actually looks like. You can think of the execution phase as the marathon of the project. This is where most of your time, most of your budget, and most of your team's energy is going to be spent. Success here isn't just about checking off tasks on a list. It's all about active leadership, constant communication, and some seriously sharp problem solving to make that plan a reality. Now, to stay in control, you're constantly juggling these three things: scope, time, and cost. The best way to think about it is like a three-legged stool. If you change one leg, let's say you add a new feature which increases the scope, you absolutely have to adjust the other two, time and cost, or the whole project is going to topple over. And that brings us to our first and maybe most common minefield, that seemingly innocent, small request that can totally blow up your project's scope. So here's how it usually happens. A key stakeholder catches you in the hallway or on a quick call and hits you with the classic line, "Hey, could we just add one little thing?" It sounds so harmless, right? But this is exactly how scope creep starts. A few of these small changes get added informally, they pile up, and before you know it, your schedule is toast and your budget is gone. So what's the fix? You need a formal gatekeeper, and that's the Change Control Board, or the CCB. This is basically a dedicated group of people whose only job is to look at these proposed changes in a structured way. This ensures every single change is a conscious business decision, not just some casual, "oh, by the way," request. And the process they use is beautifully simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. First, the request has to be formally submitted. No more hallway conversations. Second, the board reviews it. They dig in and analyze the real impact on scope, time, and cost. And finally, they make a decision based on data. Approve, reject, or maybe defer it for later. This is how you bring order to the chaos. And the secret weapon in this whole process, it's the change request form. This thing doesn't just collect information, it actually forces the person asking for the change to justify it. By making them spell out the impact on cost, schedule, and resources, you shift the burden of proof. This simple form weeds out the casual requests and gives the CCB everything it needs to make a smart call. Okay, so you've got changes under control. But what about the problems that just appear? This is our next minefield, the unseen blocker. You know, the technical glitches and unexpected roadblocks that can bring everything to a grinding halt if you're not tracking them. Picture this. A developer hits a major roadblock. They mention it in a team chat, but that's it. There's no formal record. So, who owns the problem? What's the plan to fix it? Is anyone even working on it? Without a formal tracking system, that issue gets lost in the noise. People make wrong assumptions, and days very quickly turn into weeks of delay. To fix this, we have to be super clear on what an issue actually is. See, a risk is something that might happen in the future. An issue is a risk that has already happened. It's a real, active problem that is causing damage to your project right now. You can't just hope it goes away. You have to manage it, and manage it fast. Now, it's really important not to get your logs mixed up. Think of it this way. The issue log is your problem document. It tracks all the things that are currently broken or blocked. The change log is your response document. It tracks the requests to change something, which might be a response to an issue. They work together, but they serve two totally different purposes. Your issue log is basically the command center for all your problem solving, and every single field you see here is critical. That assigned owner field, that eliminates all the confusion and makes one person accountable. Priority forces the team to focus on the biggest fires first, and status gives everyone instant visibility so nothing falls through the cracks. This isn't just paperwork, you guys. This is control. So, you've logged the issue, you've assigned an owner, but what happens when your team just can't solve it on their own? This brings us to the very delicate art of escalating without alienating everyone and burning bridges. Here's the situation. You've got a critical issue. It's just sitting there, stuck. Your team has tried everything, but you just don't have the authority or maybe the resources to get it fixed. The project is bleeding time and money, and you feel completely powerless. That's the moment you know it's time to escalate. Look, escalating isn't admitting defeat. Far from it. It is a strategic communication tool. It's the formal process you use to ask for help from the people who have the power to actually remove the roadblock. When you do it right, it's the sign of a responsible and proactive project manager, not a failing one. But the crucial part is how you do it. This 5-step formula right here is your guide to doing it perfectly. It's all about being professional, not emotional. Keep it friendly, state the problem and its consequences clearly, but pay attention to these last two. They're the most important. You have to propose a solution and make a very specific request. You're not just dropping a problem in their lap, you're guiding them to the exact help you need. And here we see that formula in action. Just look at this. The subject line is clear and urgent. The tone is professional, but it's also friendly. It states the problem, the direct business consequence, a delayed launch, and then makes a very specific, actionable request. Let's meet tomorrow to decide on a new supplier. This is the kind of email that gets a fast, positive response. All right, we've talked about managing changes, tracking issues, and escalating when you have to. But how do you tie all of this information together? Well, that brings us to our final piece, building a project command center that keeps everybody on the same page. Because honestly, without a single source of truth, what you get is pure chaos. You'll have one stakeholder who thinks everything's going great, while your team is over here fighting fires every day. That kind of misalignment is one of the biggest project killers out there, and the only cure is clear, consistent communication. And this is where the project status report becomes your best friend. It's more than just a document. It's your main tool for managing everyone's expectations. It provides a regular, predictable snapshot of the project's health, its progress, and any problems that are bubbling up. Now, at the heart of any great status report is this simple, beautiful visual, the RAG status. Red, amber, and green. Green is good, red is bad. We all get that. But amber? Amber's actually the most important color here. It's your early warning sign. It says, hey, we've got an issue, but we have a plan to manage it. This kind of transparency builds trust. It prevents surprises, and it lets stakeholders see the project's real health in a single glance. A really solid report brings together everything we've talked about. It gives that overall health with the RAG indicators, it celebrates what you've accomplished, it calls out the top risks and issues that need attention, and it looks ahead to what's next. It's basically the entire project story all on one page. So after seeing how all these tools worked together, I want to leave you with this question. Is all of this just bureaucracy, annoying paperwork that gets in the way of doing the real work? Or are these the very tools that give you the control you need to steer a project through the chaos and bring it home successfully? Something to think about.